All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again with corrupt Letitia James. She is so pissed off right now, her and that corrupt Judge Moron. They both are pissed after Donald Trump made the bond $175 million. And like I said before, $175 million is still a whole lot of money. And I mentioned this before in the last video, that at least it's better that he didn't have to pay the $500 million just to appeal. So at least the appellate court did, split it, made it 175, even though 175 is still a boatload of money. It still is. But at least he was able to make bond, and Letitia James is pissed off because remember how she was all on her Twitter page, which is called X now, talking about how she's gonna seize his assets. She's gonna be taking pictures of it. You remember the View they was talking about? They was waiting on Letitia James to put chains around the buildings, just all type of crazy stuff. Now they looking bad, and even more news then came out that Doug is gonna get ready and tell us. So we definitely finna go ahead and dive straight into this. Make sure y'all please hit that like button so more people can see this video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on regarding the Letitia James, Jack Smith, Fannie Willis, all these corrupt people that just going after Donald Trump for no reason. If you want to stay up to date with everything going on, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will leave the original video in the description. Make sure y'all go to Doug's channel and let him know that I sent you. I will leave the original video in the description. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this, y'all. Let's go.
Letitia James, so close. You came so close to stealing Trump's properties, to confiscating them in your little communist empire. You and creepy Judge Engoron, and it's all floating out of your hands. I got some news for you guys. Let's get to it. Some clips and some articles, really just to get you up to speed on what's happening with Trump's trials in New York. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. Part of why we're happy is because the Democrats' plans against Trump didn't work. Here's three headlines. Boom, boom, boom. MSNBC News. Donald Trump posts $175 million bond in civil fraud case. So yes, he posted the bond. He's good. That was 10 hours ago. Here's CNN. Trump posts $175 million bond in New York civil fraud case as he appeals. And then here's the Hill. Trump rips New York fraud case after posting $175 million bond. We're going to go to that center article with CNN and read that one because it's so hilarious. CNN Politics headlines. Trump posts $175 million bond in New York civil fraud case as he appeals. Former President Donald Trump has posted a $175 million bond as he appeals the judgment against him in New York civil fraud case brought by State Attorney General Letitia James. Trump's bond pauses any action that James could take against Trump's properties in response to the judgment until at least September. Guys, this thing is over. When the state appeals court also set a schedule to hear his appeal of the $464 million verdict against him. I'm going to zip down to this Alina Habba quote. Quote, as promised, President Trump has posted bond. Trump attorney Alina Habba said in a statement, quote, he looks forward to vindicating his rights on appeal and overturning this unjust verdict, unquote, in a Truth Social post on Tuesday morning. The former president said he posted the bond just for the right to appeal this travesty of a case, and criticized Engoron. We have that Truth Social from Trump at the end of this video, so hold tight. Here's Turley on Fox News with just a quick overview of the entire case.
Look, this has really done great damage to the New York legal system and how it's perceived internationally. This is thrilling for many people in New York who, after all, elected James on a pledge to bag Trump for something. So this is obviously playing well to the New York base. But outside New York, and particularly international businesses, are looking at this, I think, with a degree of horror. That a judge could come up with a figure so large you have to sell parts of your business just to get an appeal.
And that's what's embarrassing to Letitia James. They actually made a size of bond that can't be appealed. It's impossible. So It shows their hatred of Trump, exposes them as Democrat operatives, which is good for Trump. Even in New York, here's Simon Ateba. Trump writes, thank you to Professor Jonathan Turley. That was the last video clip. Jonathan Turley for exposing the horrendous decision made by a corrupt New York State judge, Arthur Engeron, on the I will get Trump, unquote, worst in the nation, AG Letitia James. Unfair case against me. I just posted a $175 million bond just for the right to appeal this tragedy of the case, which I won at an appellate division, but the judge refuses to accept it. A first, that's Judge Engeron. He is a whacked out nut job who just made up a number out of thin air, just like he did on the value of Mar-a-Lago. Businesses won't enter New York because of this decision, and many are fleeing. Think of it. I had to pay an enormous sum for the right to appeal the ridiculous decision of a crooked judge and attorney general. This is election interference, and it all comes directly from Joe Biden and the White House, and attack along with all the others on this political opponent. Me, says Trump. Trump was given this argument by a citizen journalist, like a schmo lady lawyer who found the something in the Constitution, and it ended up making its way to Trump's lawyers. Check this one out.
Well, when the New York judge decided to fine Donald Trump basically all the cash he had and then some to virtually ensure that he would not be able to appeal.
So she went sleuthing after that happened. I just think it's very impressive what she found. It encourages me as a citizen journalist too. You never know how high these things go.
I thought to myself, I'm going to check the 8th Amendment and see if it has a clause in it that says accept Trump, because the 8th Amendment prohibits excessive fines. And I looked up the Supreme Court case most recently that decided whether this applies to the states as well as the federal government.
She goes to the 8th Amendment that she says you can't have extreme fines on someone like Trump. And many of the Democrats were kicking back, going, but that 8th Amendment is not for the states. It's only—
See, that's the thing right there. They be trying to pick and choose, and I'm glad she did that. And that's when Trump, we really start hearing Trump say something about the 8th Amendment. And then you heard Letitia James, forget the 8th Amendment. See, because they be feeling like they above the law. Whatever they say, it must go or else. They knew that right there was ridiculous. That's why Letitia James was being called out now. The way she's trying to go after Donald Trump, and they were like, why you won't go after Jon Stewart? He had a penthouse that was worth $1 million and sold it for $17 million, and now the left is trying to make up excuses for Jon Stewart. Oh, that don't apply to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart had the right to sell his house for however much he want. See, they get to moving the goalposts. That's where the hypocrisy and stuff comes in, because it's all about who we like. So since you don't like Donald Trump, that's why you try to treat him like that. That's why you trying to make him pay a $500,000 bond. That's the reason why you seen Alina Habba she just straight went off. She said, Letitia James, is you going to go after one of your own like you trying to do Donald Trump? Is you going to go after Jon Stewart? She's not going to go after Jon Stewart because Jon Stewart subscribed to that bull crap that she be saying. He subscribed to that, so they think alike, so she's not going to say anything to this man. That's the reason why businesses are fleeing. Don't nobody want to do business in New York. We heard what Kevin O'Leary had to say about all of this. He said he would never do business in New York. Long as you got Letitia James and that corrupt judge right there, Judge Arthur Moron. That's what his name is.
Only to limit the federal government. She goes back and finds a case. The New York, the states were also limited by that same constitution, and it was argued by a strange ally of Trump's. Can you guess which judge wrote the opinion?
2019 was the year. The case is Timms versus Indiana. It's a gentleman's name. He had a $10,000 fine that he owed for a drug-related offense. The state of Indiana wanted to seize his $42,000 car, which he bought with insurance proceeds, not with drug proceeds. The Indiana court said it's an excessive fine, and the Indiana Supreme Court overturned that and said, yes, but the excessive fines clause doesn't apply to the states. And it went to the Supreme Court.
And this Indiana case goes before Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Does this limitation, this amendment, apply to the states or just to the government?
And the Supreme Court said in 2019, yes, it does apply to the states. Excessive fines are prohibited. And then there's a long definition of proportionality and the rest of it. The decision was unanimous, and it was written by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg saved Trump's butt. Good job, Ruth. Thank you once again. Now, what's amazing about our law and our Constitution, it can actually cut both ways. Trump can now use this decision by Ruth Bader Ginsburg and say that that Eighth Amendment of excessive fines applies to New York, and therefore Judge Engoron and Letitia James are anti-Constitution.
And so I wrote a column about it. I said, here's how Ruth Bader Ginsburg just saved Donald Trump $455 million. Because I had all of the citations to the different decisions, I think it was passed around to the lawyers, some of whom were representing Trump, and it ended up in his hands. And so he posted a link to it on Truth Social. And so there's been a lot of traffic to that column.
How cool is that? She writes a little column, Trump reposts it. It made its way back to him, and he liked it. And he started mentioning the Eighth Amendment in some of his speeches. I saw it happen. So this is all because of a citizen journalist, this lady that did the research.
What brilliant legal sleuthing. It reminds me how much I revere this country and our Constitution, that actually we can go back and actually establish facts and the law and insist that they're followed. There's something about that whole story you've just told that I find deeply, deeply moving, actually.
Yeah, we can insist that they're followed. The problem is the Democrats hate following their own decisions. Let's keep going, though, because there's a lot more on Letitia James. Here's Laura Loomer on Twitter, exclusive. Lauren Merchants, that's Judge Merchant's daughter, Laura Merchant's mother, and Judge Merchant's wife worked for the Trump-hating New York Attorney General Letitia James. So this is the judge.
There you go, right there. You see what I'm talking about? They just go to show you right there. Now, these people, look at this right here. Lauren Merchant's mother and Judge Merchant's wife worked for the Trump-hating New York Attorney General Letitia James. They worked for us. So obviously, Letitia James has pretty much been caught here, because we pretty sure that she's putting the bug in these people's ear to try to take down Trump, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. So Letitia James has been caught. She has been caught. Kind of bring back memories, don't you? Remember Judge McAfee from Fannie Willis? Remember Judge McAfee worked for Fannie Willis? Remember that? Judge McAfee worked for Fannie Willis. And now finding out that these people, this judge, worked for Letitia James? I mean, we see the pattern here, how these people are trying to take down Donald Trump. But let's go ahead and keep it going, though, and let's see exactly what we'll see it.
In charge of the Stormy Daniels case with Alvin Bragg. Who are the Democrats not in bed with? Look, there's Laura Merchant. She's the Attorney General, Special Assistant Attorney General. Attorney General records show Laura Merchant held job of Special Assistant to the Attorney General from 2008 to 2022. She worked for Letitia James. Of course, this other Judge Juan Merchant is not going to recuse himself, because that would be doing what Democrats demand conservative judges do, like Clarence Thomas. And then here's the actual legal document down there, the original mortgager, Juan Merchant and Laura Merchant. Now let's get to Trump on Truth Social. He posted, I've just posted a $175 million bond with a sadly failing and very troubled new state of New York, based on a corrupt judge and corrupt attorney general who used a state that was never used for this before. There was no jury was allowed. My financial statements were conservative and had a 100% perfect caution non-reliance clause. There were no victims except me. There was no crime or damage. There was only success and happy banks. The case was fabricated election interference, con job, so bad for New York, where businesses are fleeing and violent crime is flourishing. Thank you, Letitia James, for your contribution with violent crimes. The crooked judge, Engoron, to suit his narrative, valued Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida at $18 million when it was worth 50 to 100 times that amount. He ruled I was guilty before he ever saw the case. He should be disbarred. And Letitia James, who campaigned on getting Trump, she should be impeached also posted a $91 million bond on another New York fake case that's with E. Jean Carroll. I can't use that money on my campaign. Just what Crooked Joe wanted. Witch hunt. Man, this is powerful stuff.
I'm telling you.
Here's Judge Janine Fan. Senator Holly Press calling for AG Letitia James to be disbarred for targeting her political opponent. Do you agree with Senator Holly Press? Should Letitia, you guys in the chat, should Letitia be disbarred? Yes or no? If you believe yes, also give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Here's the New York Post. Dems, clients of daughter of New York judge in Trump hush money trial, raised $93 million off the case. What the what? I'll just read you some of this article. Two major Democratic clients of the daughter of the judge overseeing Donald Trump's hush money trial have raised at least $93 million in campaign donations and used the case in their solicitation email. So they sent out talking about what Trump was doing to raise $93 million, raising renewed concerns that the jurist has a major conflict of interest.
Wow.
Trump's attorneys are considering filing another motion mandating Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan recuse himself from the case set to begin April 15th.
He needs to recuse himself. His whole family worked for Letitia James. He needs to be gone. So obviously he's going to be biased because Letitia James don't like Donald Trump. And look at the crap she's trying to do to him. And I'm pretty sure Letitia James is talking to this judge behind the scenes. She got two crooked judges in her back pocket, in Goran and Merchant. So he do need to recuse himself. I don't blame Donald Trump. He need to get a fair judge. The only fair judge so far been Judge Eileen Cann out of Florida. She been like the only fair judge to Donald Trump, like calling it right down the middle. These other judges, it's like every last one of them don't like Donald Trump. He needs to recuse himself. This is crazy.
Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan recused himself from the case set to begin April 15th, sources said. Main take home is they're all in bed with each other. They're all raising money.
Yep.
Trump's the only one being censored and saying that he cannot speak on this. Of course, anyone else would be nailed with having to recuse themselves until a Democrat does it. But I mostly wanted to make this video about an update on how Judge Engoron and Letitia James are looking worse and worse to the public. They're starting to open themselves up to being investigated themselves, just like what happened with Bonnie Willis. Of course, I'm so happy you're here sharing.
Shout out to Doug, man. Like I said, don't forget to go over to his channel. Go subscribe to his channel. Let him know that I sent you another great video. But, man, I had no idea about, like, the judges, you know, like they work for Letitia James, and it just sounded similar to me. I'm like, why are it always judges that used to work for the people that's going after Donald Trump, like Judge McAfee worked for Fannie Willis? This judge and his folks work for Letitia James. So it's like they trying to take Donald Trump out, and we all know that they all behind the scenes talking about this crap. We ain't stupid. But he definitely needs to recuse himself. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments section. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.